Your Minnesota Wild had a clean period in yesterday's game. In fact, they had 3 of them, shutting out the Bruins for a big win. And that means that all new members get 50% off the first month of Tidal Wave's Best Car Wash membership. Offer only valid for today. Check out your little Tidal Wave car wash to sign up today.
Final hour, 9 to noon, Nordo in for PA. It sounds like tomorrow PA is going to be at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, and there might be something HOF related. How about that for a tease?
Ooh.
That's on the football side of things. We're talking puck, the final hour. And I was joking about it earlier. Pat Micheletti in studio at PatMick2626. Is you can't please everybody in the open of a show, right? It's a Monday morning.
Right.
And some people are like, well, where the hell's PA? Well, I'm sorry. Okay. Here I am. I'm mad producer. But what are you going to talk about?
Were you worried that I was going to say, well, I'm not coming on? No,
I wasn't worried about that.
Good.
No, I'm never worried about you.
Oh, and you and I talk off air a little bit.
Yeah.
Can we keep our little idea? Our Olympic
I think it's
do
genius.
you want to keep that to ourselves?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
or not. It's up to you.
well, I mean, if we're going to make any money on it,
You can't tease it and then not say it.
I mean, here's the deal. I already lost 10 grand on the Mondiac t-shirts.
You only
Okay.
10?
You still got the boxes in your truck?
I do.
All right. Well,
We were Mondiacs for a while.
we were
weren't
Mondiacs, and some investments pay,
Some don't.
some do not, and that
Is he
sadly,
still in the league?
Good question.
he's been jumping practice squads.
Yeah.
He might be
What a life.
You know what? Everybody's been talking, tag Sam Darnold, let him go.
Yep.
It's J.J. McCarthy season, and who's going to be the backup? Daniel Jones. He could leave. No one's brought up.
No one's brought up. How about your practice squad? Right?
Yeah, why not? No, you need depth.
need
Absolutely.
depth.
I have an answer to where he is.
Where is he?
He is the quarterback for the San Antonio Brahmas.
Ooh, in
I was
the Arena
confused.
Football League?
Is that X? Yeah,
That's the UFL
it's
now.
Oh, the
UFL.
UFL.
So he might be a
right.
little busy.
He's available. Well, hey, get your legs under you in spring. He's going to be in mid-season form. By the time camp rolls around,
Right.
it's perfect. Okay, well, let's keep him on in our back pocket. I think we should keep it to ourselves.
Debo for a 5th round? Really?
Yeah, it's nutty, right?
There's
Now they're gonna have to pay him a money.
something else.
Well, they got to pay him. The Commanders are going to have to pay him.
And
a
they
pretty
probably-
hefty price tag. They have a ton of money.
Well, there you go.
Now they have also nearly 30 free
So
agents.
does this team.
We do. Absolutely.
Would he look good here in purple?
Yeah, he'd look pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. let's make really good even better. How about that?
But he wants
Justin
to be.
Jefferson, Jordan Addison.
But he wants to be the running back.
See, the way that I always gathered is I think,
Or is that just him?
well, I think what he wants, and this is the last time I saw him say anything about it, or there was kind of alluding to, kind of beating around it, is the idea that he wants wide receiver cash, right? You know what Justin
right.
Jefferson got. We know what Jamar Chase is going to get.
Right.
And so he wants that, but he does want the ball every time. So I don't think there was an issue with him. Like, no, I don't want to do end arounds. I mean, I think, was it against the Vikings? It was somewhere. He had like a 50-yard, and I mean, it was when he's a fantastic player. So I think he wants the wide receiver cash. He doesn't want to be billed, like he doesn't want to get pigeonholed into 15 running back style touches a game. I don't know. He seems like he's a tricky guy to figure out, but he's terrific. Yeah, I'd love
some
him.
pretty good weapons in with the Commanders now.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels, so good.
McLaren,
McLaren,
Robinson,
Deebo.
Eckler.
The De'Ami Brown cat. Well, Eckler, I don't know about Eckler.
Was fine.
He was fine.
He's fine.
But man, did he fall off a cliff. I mean,
Really
he went from leading the NFL in touchdowns
almost MVP of the league, right?
Yeah. Yes, correct. Where was I
So
at?
why am I here?
I don't remember. Pat Micheletti. We could, so people excited about hockey right now. We kicked things off. 44 from Ant. He's off the suspension. Julius Randle's
nice
back.
win last night.
But there were other things.
Yeah, there are.
That were transpiring this weekend. And so I do want to start with Gophers. Okay. And we're going to hit on some high school, talk about the Minnesota Wild. They beat Boston. And everything's in front of them right now. March. I mean, they're going to be at home so much. Just defend home ice. And you're a playoff team and hopefully get healthy along the way, right? So, but 5-3 on Saturday, Nittany Lions, they were in Happy Valley. They ice the Big Ten title.
Yep. Get a share of it.
They get a share of it?
Yep.
Yes, okay. So that happened. Now the Big Ten tourney is ahead. What are we thinking about Notre Dame at Mariucci this weekend?
Well, it was kind of, in my opinion, the best of both worlds for Minnesota. They don't win the title outright, but they get a share of it. So technically they are the Big Ten champs, right?
Well, now you're ruining the celebration.
Well,
I'm not that excited about it anymore.
Well, but I am, because I'd hate the fact, and if you were to poll any coach in the league, they hate a first round bye. When at this time of the year, you want to keep playing.
Okay.
And so Michigan State, because of the tiebreaker, will get the opening round bye.
Yep.
Okay, they advance right to the semis of the tournament,
and it's a 3-gamer this weekend for
best of three, best of three, and so Minnesota gets to keep on playing, which I think is good for them.
Okay,
and they'll play Notre Dame, who had a really not they had a bad year, and it's really too bad because their head coach is done at the end of this year. He's retiring, Jeff Jackson, who's had a fantastic career, great coach, a lot of really, really good teams at Notre Dame. And for some unknown reason, they struggled this year. And so, will be the Gophers' opponent in the first round.
Okay. Third in the pairwise,
they're safe.
Does that continue to change throughout the Big Ten tourney? Or
it does.
Okay.
Yeah. And, the sad thing is let's talk about Penn State a little bit, a team that started the year 0-8 in conference.
Yeah.
And literally have been the best team in college hockey since Christmas. They have been the best team in college hockey. They may not make the tournament. They were at 16 to start the weekend in the pairwise. Top 16 make it. They beat Minnesota Friday night. They jumped to 12. Safe, right?
Yep.
Minnesota beats them on Saturday night. They fall back to 15.
Ooh.
Now, to be safe, and I think we went over this last weekend, you have to be in the top 13.
Right. Because of some obscure conference winner can take it.
You're going to have, like, for instance, Minnesota State, their only chance of getting in the tournament is to win their conference championship. And that goes for two other conferences, too. They don't have enough pairwise points to finish in the top 16. Automatic bid, They get in. That knocks out a team like Penn State.
Right.
Unless they were to win their conference championship. So
they got to go on a run.
They got to go on a run. But the good thing for Penn State is if they win next weekend against Michigan is a team that is ahead of them now. Yeah. They will pick up pairwise points and might move into the tournament. So it's convoluted. But the Gophers,
I get it.
Gophers are number 3 in the pairwise, and will probably it'd be very, very difficult for them not to be a number 1 seed in the tournament.
Okay. Is the CCHA down right now? Any good?
Well, I'd hate to say it's down, but what the problem is that collectively as a league, none of those teams are ranked high enough for you to pick up any points. Okay. They pick up all their pairwise points with their non-conference.
So beating St. Thomas or beating Bemidji, that just doesn't mean that much.
Doesn't help them.
Yeah.
Now, if Minnesota State was playing Minnesota in the first round and beat them Okay, and if they were in the same league,
Yeah.
completely different story. They jump significantly.
Right.
But they can't, like this weekend, Minnesota State opens the CCHA tournament against Lake State. Well, Lake State in the pairwise is like 40-something. And so
they should just mow them down and move forward.
Yeah, and they should.
But that's not going to help them in the pairwise.
That's not going to help them in the pairwise.
I got to hit you with this. I was just, again, doing my daily doom scrolling on social media.
You have to.
Jackson Judding.
Yeah.
Plays for Bemidji.
Yes.
Tell me this is Troy's kid.
Nephew.
Oh.
Nephew. Yes.
And Troy Judding's not coaching anywhere.
He's not coaching anymore. No.
I mean, they just...
The Judding kid is a good player.
Jackson's good, right?
Really good player. He started out his career at Colorado College and then transferred to Bemidji.
How is there a lot of transferring in college hockey? Has that followed the same path as?
Yes.
Because typically we'd be talking about college football, right? Or the quote unquote revenue sports.
Kid who might win the Hobie Baker was at UMD. Isaac Howard, number 1 draft pick of the Tampa Bay Lightning, spent 1 year at UMD and went to Michigan State. There's a lot of it. That's a subject for another day.
It's not even, but is it something, for instance, like does Motzko's team, I mean, I don't hear a lot of that being an issue or factored in.
They don't really, they do it on a need. If they're looking for one, a specific position or a player. Matthew Wood, great example with the Gophers this year, transferred from UConn here.
Okay.
And, he's been on a heater lately. He's been really, really good. Number 1 draft pick of the Nashville Predators.
Is St. Thomas coming along?
They are really hot right now. They're they stumbled early in the year, but have really started to play well. Now, unfortunately, they're ineligible this year, but they petitioned and they will be eligible next season. Now, how about this? If they end up in the championship game of the CCHA championship, which they're playing in the conference tournament, they can win it.
Right. So they can be conference champions.
And so if you're the other team that is in that championship, you're automatically, that game means nothing other than pride and winning the championship and all that, but you're in. So if Mankato ends up with St. Thomas, that game.
So it wouldn't matter that they did not win the game.
Nope.
That still technically they would take. No, I understand that, but there wouldn't. It wouldn't be because we're talking getting back to Penn State. So we would take the loser of a conference title game in this circumstance.
Yes, because
versus even if they lose the game, lower pairwise, all of that, and we would boot a Penn State because of we have to take somebody from that conference.
Correct.
Okay. Wow. Still want to win that game, though.
Still want to win that game.
Yeah. We're not chilling. We're not
right. Because you always, you never play to lose. You never, you never play to lose. You never want to lose, and you should always have that mindset of winning.
Well, and that'd be brutal.
And if not,
they're not eligible for the tournament.
If not, you shouldn't be playing any sport.
Well, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Just can't let St. Thomas win the conference title.
Oh,
and not even eligible. That would be awful.
Would you come down to
Horns Up
for that championship game if they're hosting? Because you should.
Mankato's fun.
I'll pick you up.
I love Mankato.
Okay.
Pick me up on the way.
Yep.
All right.
Because you're right on the way.
Yes, I am.
Yep.
To the high school tourney, Pat.
Yes.
It's upon us. How much do you love the state hockey tournament?
I love it. I mean, I don't think anyone doesn't throughout the country. And I said this the other day on Beyond the Pond, is that everybody in the country knows knows about the state high school hockey tournament.
The hockey hardcores, and then those that the hair bit, the cultural element of it.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Yeah.
And it has been, and they continue each year to just knock it out. And, people have had season tickets for the state tournament for 40, 50 years and pass them down. And, you can't get, the AA, you can't get a ticket for. And the Class A is the level of play, which I think has really been the best part of this thing, is that it covers the whole state. You have a Hibbing playing Laverne, right?
Yep.
Who'd have heard of Laverne 25 years ago on the hockey scene? And now...
Oh, I know all about Laverne.
Yeah. Their ability to...
But other people, I get
right.
it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so...
Speaking of that, by the way, is there a little bit of hometown pride here with Hibbing?
It's been a while.
Chisholm, VCA. It was an OT winner, I think, over Hermantown.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
No, over Cloquet.
Over Cloquet, excuse me.
They beat Hermantown in the semis. Hibbing did.
Did I read this correctly? Was Hermantown, were there some grumblings that they were complaining so it must have been Cloquet then that needs to be moved up to double?
Hermantown for the last...
They were complaining?
Hermantown for the last... they've been the power of that section for, I don't know how many years, Brett. Do you know? 10, 15?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least a decade.
Yeah, at least a decade. And their schedule consisted of really playing all AA teams and preparing themselves to win their section. And listen, great teams, great players throughout the year and throughout the years, I should say. And you always get that though, right? There's this team's dominating, move up a class,
okay.
Right? And
yeah.
So I don't know.
I misread it then because I thought Hermantown after losing was complaining.
I think Cloquet came down, didn't they, Brett? They were AA and then came down to A. Is that right?
It's possible.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm asking Brett and he doesn't know. Yeah. I thought Brett would. No.
I don't follow Cloquet as closely as I once did.
Cloquet, Esco, Carlton.
No, I said
CEC.
I said something mean about his Packers team, and he's been a little bit disconnected ever since, which happens.
But you know what? This is the most I've seen Brett nervous about going into the next football season.
He is a little
about his Packers.
Yeah, well, it's the QB. He says the knee injury was an impact on the front end. That it was not. This is just a one out, right? And even though what is this, fourth or fifth season, technically it's
going back in that draft
starting.
Going back in that draft, and you're the GM of the Green Bay Packers, and it's Jordan Love or T. Higgins. Who are you taking?
Well, they might have the chance to ultimately. They might ultimately get both, even though it's going to be a little more expensive now.
Well, didn't they franchise Higgins? I thought they did.
The Bengals are. It sounds like if they can't get a deal done, they'll franchise tag him again.
We're all over the place, aren't we?
We are. It's a potpourri on a Monday. There's no doubt. With the high school tournament as it is,
the Blue Jackets have not been there since 2011.
See, there's always a bit. There's always a cool story. A team that jumps in. I was talking about Northfield earlier.
Yeah, our good friend Mike
several years
Lovecraft.
ago. Like they were. It was like, wow, Northfield's in the mix. Like that was exciting. Now it sounds like he's built himself a pretty nice team down there.
Yeah, he's done. Mike Lovecraft has done a terrific job with that program, and former teammate of mine at the university. So,
very cool.
Yeah,
but Chisholm, I don't know why I'm saying Hibbing third. We'll say it's
Hibbing Chisholm
VCA.
Is it VCA? I didn't even know.
Victory Christian Academy?
No.
That's just what I had read.
I don't know.
Well, it's your team.
No, Hibbing Chisholm is all I know it as.
But you're
I know.
All-time Hibbing.
Yeah, Hibbing Chisholm.
Okay.
Hibbing Chisholm.
Hibbing Chisholm.
VCA.
I'm including VCA until
Chisholm,
told otherwise.
Chisholm is 6 miles from Hibbing. Okay? And they used to be a power in hockey. Alone. We had to play them I think it was my sophomore, junior year. We had to play them. They had the higher seed than we did.
Yeah. Iron sharpens iron.
Little Chisholm. And they had beaten us once during the year too. So it's Yeah. I mean,
Now you've combined forces. Now you've combined forces and you're a juggernaut.
I mean, think about it. And the AA side, for a second, Hibbing used to have their own team. Chisholm used to have their own team. Virginia, Eveleth, Gilbert, all had their own. Aurora, Hoyt Lakes, all had their own teams, right?
Yeah.
Now, Virginia, Gilbert, Aurora, Hoyt Lakes, Mountain Iron are all combined.
Okay.
In a team called Rock Ridge.
Rock Ridge.
And they made it to the Section AA finals and lost to Andover.
We did get confirmation. Dean from Hermantown and Greg as well checked in. Cloquet did indeed move down from double to single.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I
thought that was the case.
Is the conglomerate bit, is that similar with the Northern Lakes Lightning?
Yeah.
So they're just multiple small towns that all came together?
I think so. I believe so.
What happened to Gentry? I thought Gentry was just going to run the table every year now.
Yeah.
Well, tough times at the academy. You have Orono, Northfield, Cathedral, and Matamidi, the Zephyrs. But in the AA side, some cool matchups.
Yes.
Shakopee and STA, and you got Edina in the mix, of course. But Moorhead's the top seed.
Yeah, they've got Cullens, they've got Crafts, their fathers.
Oh, of course.
All played Division I, or in the Cullen case, the NHL, and I think they're the probably the favorite going in. But I looked at it, and Zach follows high school hockey, much more than I do, but. I think the balance in the tournament is really, really good.
Good. No, that's awesome to hear. I got a text.
You know what? It's fun to watch the games, and everyone, and to a certain degree, they're all competitive, and that's the beauty of the tournament.
No, it is indeed. I got a couple of text messages. Rock Ridge, that's the fake town from Blazing Saddles. So at least one person thinks you're making that up. Another text, my dad played for both Hibbing and Chisholm, said both towns closed down for the vaunted matchups. Was it as truly tumbleweeds blowing through town and everybody was at the barn?
There were posters. Someone made these little posters and they printed them out, and they had a picture of me, and it was wanted dead, not alive. That's how competitive
I love that.
Yeah, it was crazy. But you know what? They were the smaller town. We were the bigger town. And Chisholm put up some great players. Former minority owner of the Minnesota Wild, Phil Falcone, was a Chisholm native, played at Harvard, was part of a lot of really, really good Chisholm teams throughout the years. So shout out to Chisholm.
Shout out to Chisholm. Shout out to Hibbing. And also on the docket as part of the tourney, you got Stillwater and Andover, Lakeville South.
Thomas Vanek,
Rogers,
assistant coach of Stillwater, and his boys play for Stillwater.
You still want Vanek on the team?
I am a huge Thomas Vanek fan, and I thought he was, in his time here, I thought, let's just say I've been a fan of his, and will always be a fan of his.
Well, I'm not putting you. This isn't the. No, you're not going under the lights here. This isn't an interrogation.
I think he got ripped, and I think people didn't understand the type of player he was. And
this isn't like fallness in his Jack Eichel opinion.
You know he's going to call in now. Wait, he's probably going to call in.
Let's do this. Let's pause, and then let's talk about Thomas Vanek's former team, the Minnesota Wild. They beat Boston, got a couple on the road ahead of them this week before a 7-game homestand. Let's check in and see what Patrick Micheletti thinks about the Minnesota Wild as we continue a hockey-heavy final hour. Pat Mick 2626 in studio. It's Nordo in for PA. It's the Fan.
Check out our contest page to see how you could enter to win a pair of tickets to see early 2000s icon Simple Plan when they take over the Armory August 19th. Don't miss out on your chance to see hits like I'm Just a Kid, Perfect, and Welcome to My Life. Enter now, KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Pat Micheletti in studio. It's Nordo in for PA 9 to noon. PA will be at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center mañana, and we're excited for that.
We really solve a lot of sports issues.
All of them.
Off the mic, don't we?
Yes, we do. Wow. How about this? Northern Lakes is coached by former Duluth East head coach Mike Randolph.
And former St. Thomas Academy head coach Mike Randolph.
Was that where he went when he first left Duluth East?
Yes, he went to St. Thomas Academy as an assistant coach and then took over the following year. Coached 1 year there.
And Mike Randolph's HOF, right? Very good coach.
Absolutely.
I just remember because I think, and you're here to tell me if I'm an idiot.
He was the before Hermantown became Hermantown.
Play high school.
Duluth East was the power up there.
And but wasn't there a thing where he was still living up north and coaching St. Thomas?
Yep.
Like there were just kind of issues
I think
surrounding
he had a place
that.
down here. Yeah, I don't know what the.
But in the end, now Northern Lakes,
the Northern Lakes Lightning. First year, and he gets them to the state tournament. I don't know a thing about them.
Well, they're ready to shock some people.
They are.
Wednesday, Hibbing.
We'll see. No, they don't play Hibbing.
No. I'm saying Hibbing's the top seed in.
Yeah, of course.
What a stupid thing to say.
Duh.
Why does that even bear mentioning?
Go Blue Jackets.
Wednesday, right?
Yes. 6 o'clock.
We solve all the sports issues.
We do.
We do. We find our way to the right answer eventually.
Yep.
With the Minnesota Wild.
We even agree a majority of the time.
Majority of the time, which actually is a problem. Because it's just like anything else. If you don't have somebody that challenges...
Don't be afraid to push back on me.
your viewpoint or... No, I don't know. I just like agreeing with you. Or maybe we see everything correctly, or we're both
Do you
wildly
like the luge
delusional.
or the bobsled in the Olympics? Better.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, Cool Runnings raised. The luge is pretty impressive though. Looks like they're going pretty damn fast. But that goes back to our Olympics idea.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm curious: if a finely tuned athlete can go that fast, how about a 250-pound couch potato? How would I look at that luge?
Running down.
Now, the problem, I don't want to wear if I'm going to do this, I don't want, it's the form fitting doesn't, it's not very flattering. But how much drag time? How much
as a ski jumper?
Yeah. Well, well, that's the problem too, is how much drag time am I adding with, like some baggy wind pants?
Yeah,
and then just like a North Face parka and some mittens. I feel like I'm not at my best, but I'm not rolling.
But you would have me.
Spandex.
You'd have me.
That's true. Yes. Oh, the 2-man luge. Oh, I forgot about that. Is there a weight limit on the sled? That's not that's a Nordo issue. That's not a Pat Micheletti issue.
Right.
All right. Well, I guess got to start training.
We'd make weight.
We would one way or another. That's right. Cue the Rocky montage. You jogging behind me.
That's
I'm wearing a garbage bag, trying to sweat out the final 5 pounds before I hit the scales. We're trying to sweat out the final 20-some games of the Minnesota Wild season, and that was, I don't want to say it was a sweat. It was, I hate to call it boring. It was
boring.
Okay, but you get out with the W.
Bottom line.
Okay. See, we agree again.
It's not style points. It's points.
Yeah.
And you got the 2 points, which are critical. Any 2 points they get now is very, very helpful to them. I think they have a 7-point lead now. And I think that you're
probably right.
Yeah, I think it's 7 points. It was 11. But to my point, a couple weeks ago, if you...
Ooh, it's still 9.
Oh, it went back up to 9.
Ooh,
yeah,
we got ourselves a cushion, Pat.
It was 7, but it was before that 11 or 13. And what happened was Wild lose 3 in a row. Team below them wins 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you just got to maintain. You don't have to win every game, but you've got to,
that puts Vancouver.
You've got to get points, and you've got to, take care of yourself at home. And they did that yesterday. Wasn't pretty. Probably are not going to look pretty in the upcoming weeks with the number of injuries that they have. But it was enough to get the win yesterday.
Well, let me actually, if you have an extra 10 minutes, let's pause because I have a couple of questions. The trade deadline is this week.
Sure.
They just added a player in Gustav Nyquist, who's basically the Wild's version of Cam Akers. I think this is the second time now that we've added Gustav in season. He was hurt the last time. I think he's healthy now. But I want to kind of put a bow on what's happening with the pro hockey team around the corner. Yep. That's Pat Micheletti. I'm Nordo in for PA. Brett Blakemore producing. Final segment next on The Fan.
Gustav. Nice to have him back.
Nyquist.
Very honest player.
Good to have him back.
Very honest player. Yep.
But he is our Cam Akers. The Vikings start seasons, and they're like, not really liking what we got at this particular spot, so then we sign Cam Akers in season
But the difference being, they couldn't afford him. He was a free agent, and they couldn't afford him. They wanted him back.
Do you think Bill's just like, we'll see you in about 8 months?
Yeah. and it's turned out and he's a really solid player, really trustworthy player, and has some offensive capabilities.
Yeah,
but he's honest. I mean, he can kill penalties. He can play on your power play. He's that type of player, and
just at a different stage of his career than what.
I think it was well worth what they gave up, a second rounder, and so if he can. I mean, they need help now, with the injuries and such. And I don't know what they're going to be able to do at the deadline.
That's what I was curious.
See.
I mean, low expectations, right? I think it's Thursday.
It is an 82-game season, but you got to give them the credit of building up all of those points early in the season, where the cushion is pretty good. Pretty, you would think pretty safe.
Yeah.
And they have 21 games left. And our good friend Joe O'Donnell informed me that, winning half of those games will get you to 96 points. And that should be enough.
Right.
It'd be really difficult for
96 is a pretty fat number to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, it is.
When you're looking, Vancouver's at 65, Blues are just behind them at 64.
You are talking teams probably, having to win at a 75% clip.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to get on. Now the St. Louis Blues did that when the year they won the cup, right? They were dead last in the National Hockey League on January 1st. Went on this crazy run and got back in the playoffs. But that doesn't happen a lot.
9 points back. You got the cushion. Happy. I mean, would you say at this stage, is it pretty well assured that other than, Colorado can nip them from behind, bump them back into a wild card spot?
Are they going to be a third or a wild card?
Do you look ahead to that kind of thing? It's like, okay, I really don't. Dallas is a boogeyman versus...
Yeah, you don't, because you know what you look at? The most important thing to me for a team that enters the playoffs, yes, power play, penalty kill, and goaltending, and blah, blah, blah. But if you're not healthy, and to ask that an unhealthy team to win the hardest trophy in all of sports, in my opinion, probably the opinion of a lot of other hockey people, but to win 16 games, to win the Stanley Cup is brutal. And
Well, there are no favors in the first round anyway. If you're going to Dallas, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, you go anywhere.
If you had to go to Winnipeg, that's tough.
You go
right?
to Vegas, you go to anywhere.
There's no freebies.
Any one of those teams. So, yeah, health is the most important for me when a team enters the playoffs.
And we're still chilling on all of that, right? Like Jules Eriksson Ek need to figure him out, but Kaprizov, Billy G hit us like a week ago.
I have no idea on either of them.
Yeah, because Billy's like, I think it's going to be longer.
Yeah,
and that was it.
And I don't. And I listen. I think he is being very, very honest with that answer.
Yeah,
a lot of people want. Oh, when's he going to be back? In a week or 2 weeks? You know what? Who knows? Who knows? So. The good thing is he did say it appears that they will be back at some point.
Yeah.
And if that some point is the start of the playoffs, hallelujah.
There we go. Hallelujah to you.
Great
Pat
to
Micheletti.
see you.
Great to see you.
Thanks for having me. And sorry, it is my fault that I got us off track a little bit.
No, it's okay.
Winter Olympics are a year away.
Yeah. So
we got to go train.
We have some conversations to have. We have some training to do, and we're going to start that in about 30 seconds. Thank you to Pat Micheletti at PatMick2626. Big thanks to Jack Brewer for helping me kick off the 10 a.m. hour. Appreciate him joining, former Gopher, former Viking. And thank you for listening to 9 to Noon. Brett producing on a moment's notice. PA should be back with you tomorrow, and we're going to be at TCO down in Eagan. With a football bent to the presentation. It's thematic. We're dream weaving. A week from today, legal tampering, free agency for our favorite football team. It's going to be a blast. So is the program, which is next on The Fan.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.